Hi everyone, it's Julie Boya here with another great interview in my self-love series. I'm so excited to have Shari Molchan here. Welcome, Shari.
Hi.
So Shari is a business and money coach, and we met here in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. She is part of the women's networking group that I belong to. And Shari and I had a beautiful opportunity to work together this past spring. So I was going through a challenging time in my business, and it seems ironic to go through that when you're in your business to invest in a coach, but it's actually the best time to do so is to invest in a coach when your business isn't doing well. And thankfully, Shari was a real catalyst for change. I actually credit Shari for the one who really pushed me to actually launch Wake Up with Gratitude as a business and its own website. So I'm so grateful for everything that you've been in my life, Shari, but I would really love for you to introduce yourself. Let us know a little bit about how you got to be the business and money coach that you are today.
Awesome. Thanks, Julie. I'm super excited to be here with you. I'm so proud of you, first off. Your self-love series and your Wake Up in Gratitude, and now being with the Mompreneur. I just want to say congratulations on that and being top 10 to watch. I knew that right when I first met you that you were one to watch, and now you've been publicly recognized. So I just want to first off say congratulations. Super proud of you. So yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Wow, my story is I'm not going to go into all of it, but the nuts and bolts of it is that I've been a financial advisor for 23 years. I still have a small practice, but when I started back in '97, I did not know that was going to be my life path, right? It's like grow up to say I'm going to be a financial advisor, right? Like no, but I kind of fell into it. Because my kid's father had died and didn't have insurance. And I got into it because it was a no-brainer. Somebody came and saw me and said, oh, you need insurance. I'm like, no kidding. So it was super successful, but then I wanted to help others. And I fast became in management and a leader and training. And that ended up being my passion. I've always been a natural born leader, just in my DNA. And then I don't fight it anymore. It is what it is.
Wow.
And so it was going great and I was having fun, and then the company got bought out by another company, and the next thing you know, everything's changing. Everything's about the bottom line. It's not about the people anymore. And I'm setting up vision boards and goal setting with all my advisors, and they sent in a new guy, and he's like, come on, crack the whip, just get those sales. And so super against all my morals and ethics. And finally, I left, and a friend who was in the business said, how about starting your own business? And I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't know. And I'd given away all my clients, and I had to start from scratch, from give up a 6-figure income to go to zero was scary and exciting at the same time. And but what I did was just put walked my talk of what I was preaching to advisors. And within the first year, within 2 years, I was back up to my income. And I've never looked back. And it's expanded now into coaching and really working with women, which is a missing piece out there in the financial thing, which is even morphed now into helping women in their business, because I get it now as 16 years as an entrepreneur. So it's been quite a ride.
I love that you did that shift. You started from zero, you went for it because you were no longer feeling aligned with the work that you were doing. And I think that's super important. I think when we talk about self-love, being aligned with the work that you're doing is definitely a fundamental act of self-love. And I want to also mention, you talked about you're a natural born leader and you're not fighting it anymore. And I love that, because that's something that I also have struggled with a really a long time, right? But it's just like stepping into that role and being okay with the fact that there, in different situations, you're going to step up for leadership in different ways based on what the situation needs. You were the leadership for our networking group for many, many years, and then you've been able to step back and let other people shine with your beautiful support and leadership legacy that you love. So another beautiful way to express self-love is just being authentic to who you are.
it started when I left the company. That was total self-love for me. I was like, even though the money was amazing and my lifestyle was amazing, it broke my heart every day. I could not do it. It was just totally against everything that I stood for. So, yeah.
That takes so much courage too, to give up money, right? We're having this talk about you being a money coach, giving up money, walking away from an income that's, providing for you and your family, especially as a woman making a really strong income as well. That's a difficult thing to let go of. What I honor about your decision is that many women would continue and be such out of alignment that they would get ill and unwell and burnout and stress leave and adrenals and all that stuff. And you made a choice.
I see that all the time. A lot of my clients that come to me are actually in what I call a job, right? Job, which with my thing stands just over broke. That stands for, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. There's a path for everybody, whether you're in a job or whether you're an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Everybody thinks, oh, I'll just sit back and I'll take care of myself, self-love, I'll start my own business and my passion. But it's not. It's hard work. It's discipline. I'm affording a little bit of luxury now, but that was 16 years in. When I first started, the self-care was super important because I was head down, working 7 days a week, when you first start your business. But the whole thing about, making that change and taking care of what your heart is saying is scary. And a lot of the women that come to me, they go, well, I should be doing this or I should be doing that. And I'm like, what is going on with you? Because we are taught from when depending on how old you are. Money was never talked about in my house when I grew up. In fact, it was, why don't you get a good job and get a school teacher job and then find a guy so you can have summer off and then you can take care of kids. And I'm just like, right? There was no money teaching me about money or any of that, right?
Well, and I would say for me, just a little bit younger generation, it was like, I grew up in a home where we can't afford it, we can't afford it, we can't afford it, because my parents had purchased a home that ended up coming beyond their means. And just, they were smart though. I will give my parents credit, is instead of staying in the neighborhood where the home was just, the expenses were way too much, we downsized, we changed neighborhoods, we downsized our lifestyle, right-sized our lifestyle so that it would be an easier situation. But even today, and this, I share a home with my parents, and the money memes that my family has, I do feel a little bit sometimes like I'm back in high school, hearing some of the words that my dad might say. I'm hoping he's not listening right now, so that's good. But it's hard. Like, you grow up with a money message. I think that's a lot of the work that you do, is really understanding what money messages have I grown up with and how is that affecting my life today, right?
Oh, totally. It's we get all kinds of messages, and our mindset, depending, we only know what we know. And when we know better, we do better, right? And so what happens is that we don't know that it's okay to have a career. We don't know that it's okay to not know what's going on, in the future. It's okay. And, what happens is that we have these self-limiting beliefs that, oh, I can't do it, or it's too late, or it's not in my DNA to be an entrepreneur, or, people just say, well, you should be secure, save your money, put them in RSPs or in some retirement plan for American audience, but some kind of savings, right? And then you are on the last place. You are at the end. Yeah. That's where you are. And so it's like, okay, I got to take care of all this and this and this, and then I can take care of me. And I'm like, no. All of that stuff is not going to get taken care of until you take care of yourself, right? And I always say self-care is selfish. And so women especially, they come to me and they're like, well, should I be doing this? Shouldn't I be taking care of my kids? Or shouldn't I be doing this? And I'm like, you will be a better mother. You will be a better wife. You will be a better entrepreneur. You will be a better employee if you take the self-care of yourself first, bar none.
So if we're talking about self-love and our finances, what does that look like? Like, how does the concept of self-love fit together with our money story, or us making more money or getting out of debt? What's the connection there? Because I feel like it's probably pretty important.
Yeah, the connection with self-love of like getting out of debt, it's we settle. We settle for the situation, because we don't know how. And I see so many women that come to me and they're just like, sure, I don't know how to get out of this. I just don't know how to do it. I know how to take care of everything else, but I don't know how to do this. And self-love is going, okay, I don't know how. It's okay to not know how. And having a soft place to land without judgment is one of my strengths. I actually just had somebody on the weekend send me a message saying, 10 years ago, you coached me, and what I loved about you was that you didn't have any judgment against me about where I was or what I was doing or how I hadn't done anything, or how could I be 40 years old and not have any money saved and have a whole bunch of debt. And I'm like, you've gotten where you are with what you know, right? So it doesn't matter. Like, self-love is just like going, okay, you know what, I don't know, ask for help. But as women, we're brought up that we should just be the nurturers. We should just go with the flow. We should just go with the status quo and keep our mouths shut and just fuck up and do whatever we need to do. And I'm like, no, you can be and do and have everything that you want. Just get somebody to listen to you and your situation. So self-love when it comes to money is just going, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, and I just need support. And it doesn't have to be a coach. Maybe it's find somebody that's actually living what.
Yeah.
Now, some people are living on the outside looking like they're okay.
Yes.
and then they're not really. So make sure, if you're looking for somebody, that they are actually walking the talk and that you trust, or join some group around some other women that are powerful or have got, they're making things happen and stuff like that. I always want to be the dumbest one in the room, is personally, because I want to learn and grow from other people. If I'm the one that knows everything, then I'm kind of not knowing anything anywhere else, right? So it's just about finding your tribe, kind of a thing.
Well, it's interesting that you said, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And I actually teach my daughter that every time you say, I know, when someone asks you something, you stop listening. Yeah. As soon as those words come out of your mouth, you're no longer listening anymore. So you can't learn. So that acknowledgement that as soon as we think we know, it's where we stop learning. And that continuous learning is that act of becoming the best version of ourselves. And I love how you talk about self-love being that point of asking for help and acknowledging that you don't know and that you want to learn. And there are so many resources that you can tap into to start to make, a difference in your own financial life. You also do masterminds as well. And I think that's something, that's very important in terms of finding a group of support and lack of judgment, right? So you run mastermind groups. What does that look like?
Well, that is amazing, because especially if you're a woman entrepreneur listening, and you're a solopreneur, what we call solopreneur, you don't have anybody like me and Julie, you're a solopreneur. We don't have people to bounce off ideas, and sometimes we can get caught thinking, God, am I the only one that's feeling this frustration or struggling, or how she looks like she's got it so together, but maybe doesn't, right? But on the outside.
Yeah.
So with the mastermind, what I love about it is you bring together like-minded people who are in the same boat as you, basically. They're solopreneurs, or not everybody in my mastermind is solopreneur, but what you do is you have support from other people, you get different advantages. You get, and it comes off on me too. So I do them for a little bit of a selfish reason too, because I don't know everything either. And I learn a ton of stuff from other people. And so the masterminds are about taking whatever your goal is. Maybe it's taking your business to another level. Maybe it's getting your personal finances together. Maybe it's about, should I hire people? It doesn't matter where you are, but what you do is you get feedback and support from everybody that's in the group. And it's a small group, so I keep them intimate because I don't want people to get lost. And the last one that I had was just amazing. There was just so raw and intimate, and the results that the ladies got were it's life changing, and that makes my heart sing. That's why my whole Life Out Loud is about building community of women, to have a safe place to fall, to have a safe place to pick up the phone and go, can you just help me for a second? And I know all those ladies, they might, and anybody in my community or my coaches or the people that are coached, and I know some of the coaches that even I've had, I could call them up and I know in 2 seconds they would say, hey, what can I do for you, right? And it's a support group, and that's self-love. That is having that support, because it's hard as heck to do this role by ourselves. I don't care if anybody says, oh yeah, no, it's easy. And I'm like, you're lying. It is not easy.
And women especially, though, we crave community. We crave tribe. We crave being connected to like-minded people that are going to lift us up, but they're also going to, like you said, catch us so we land softly when things aren't going well. And I do love the intimate mastermind. 5 or 6 is really the most a mastermind actually really should be, in order to be maximizing the time that everyone has to speak as well, and to connect. But I also want to mention, you can mastermind with just one other person.
Absolutely.
Because the 1 + 1 is never just 2, right? It's that connection that we have. So that could be hiring a coach. It could be working with a peer. So one thing that I've done that's helped me tremendously for over a year and a half is I have a weekly meeting, a Zoom meeting with one of my peers in my USANA business. Yeah. And that I don't know that I'd be where I am today if I hadn't worked with that one person. We don't really work together in business. I'm not part of her team or her tribe. We just work as peers, and we help each other to grow. And those connections we can make if we're not able to join a mastermind with Shari, if we, we can start our own local mastermind too, and it might just be with one other person.
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're looking to get some more stuff on business, or to get, to boost you're going to want to hang around with people that are actually more successful than you to give it. If you make the same amount of money as the 5 people you hang around with, you're that type of thing. So if you want to get more or be more, then hang out with people that are getting more, because sometimes what I find is misery loves company. Mm-hmm. And like attracts like. Yeah. And so you can join these groups, and all you do is support each other in keeping where you're stuck. So just a caveat to that is make sure that the people there are supporting you. Like I always tell people, be careful who you tell your goals to. Are they going to support you, or are they going to go, are you kidding? You want to do that? You want to make 100,000 this year? Like, how do you expect to do that? Or if that's kind of that's a self-care tip, is that make sure that the people you're hanging out with are looking up, like going to go forward, and not wanting to just not stay in their comfort zone.
I like what you said too, to be cautious about who we're sharing our goals with. I mean, we're recording this, it's the beginning of the year. Everyone's talking about their goals and their big, hairy, audacious goals, and what are they going for, and what's your big dream? And it's like, I don't know that I want to post all that intimate stuff on social media. Some people do, and I have in the past, but now I don't feel like that anymore. Now I know that I have big dreams. I've shared them with people that I think, are going to support me in that. And that's what you need, is that support, as opposed to the last thing you want is people to tear down your dream, because it may not seem realistic to them. It might not even be realistic, but that doesn't actually matter, does it?
No, and so that's a really good point, Julie, because this whole thing with the time of year and setting goals, and don't get me wrong, I love setting goals, and I think setting goals is important because we need to have a map of where we're going. Otherwise, what I like to say is that we just pinball through life, right? And and you know, 3 chances, okay, now we're down in the depth. And I know so many people, and I was like that. That was me. I was pinballing, and having the support. One of my business coaches became a really good friend, and so I treasure those times that I had with her. But the whole thing with setting goals is that, you know, we have this pressure on us to, you know, you should have a goal, you should have something else. And what I really say to everybody is like, you know, sit quiet and listen to what your heart wants and just be still. And I love what you do. Like, gratitude has changed my life, right? And I mean, if anybody listening is not doing gratitude every day, then you need to connect with Julie, and she'll kick you in the butt and get you going on that, because it's life changing. Every single client that I tell, you know, start a gratitude journal, whatever, it changes their life. They're like, oh my God, this whole journal, I'm just loving it. And I'm just like, they're like, well, you told me I would. I was like, yeah, right. I've given your book to my clients. I mean, I you know, it's so huge. So even if you're for the goal for January of 2020, what I would say is make your number one goal self-love. Make your number one goal self-care. I always put myself first, and people say, well, you know, for those of you that don't know me, I'm a very avid golfer, and golf is in my calendar in golf season before anything else, right? Why? Because that makes me a better person. It's my juice. It's my, you know, I love what it is. I love everything about golf. It just makes me a better person. And getting up at 4:30 every day and working out, that's self-love, because I know myself, I'm not going to do it later in the day. So it's about taking care of my physical body, my mental body, doing meditation, doing gratitude, putting myself first has made me a better person and makes me better role model. It makes it, and it just, it's like spreading the love, right? But you know how enthusiasm's contagious?
Yes.
That self-love is contagious, because people see me all the time. They're like, oh my God, you're doing all this stuff. I'm traveling, you know, I travel a lot, Mexico and stuff. I'm off again next month to go back. And they're like, oh, that must be nice. And I'm like, it is nice. You can do it too, though. Like, you just have to prioritize. So.
Well, I love that you shared that, because that's one of my favorite things to hear about is what are you doing for your own personal self-care? And I also love that for you, it's kind of like, if you know the analogy of the rocks in the jar, right? If you fill the jar with sand first, you can't get the rocks into the jar. You have to put those rocks in, and those rocks for you are your morning workout, your gratitude. You send me pictures of the sunrise when you see it from your window. And when it's golf season, it's golf. Those are the rocks in your calendar that are immovable. And then everything else goes on top of that, but you've built this beautiful base of taking care of Shari first.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap things up, because you and I could talk for an hour, and this has been really exciting, and I cannot wait to share it, but I always ask my guests, if you could inspire or encourage people to make one change or create one habit after they've watched or listened, what would that be for you?
I would say the one thing I would love for somebody to do is, after you finish listening to this, set your timer for 15 minutes and just turn everything off, turn your phones off and do everything, and just sit there and ask yourself, what do I do for self-love? And just let whatever comes out, just sit there and just think about it. When the timer goes off, write down everything that you came on there. And if there's stuff on that paper that you're not doing that's on that, then find somebody to help you, or talk to somebody, and, you know, find some way that why am I not doing this? Like, what are my story behind this? What's the excuses? You know, do I going to have regrets one day because I didn't do this? So that's one thing that I would say for everybody to do, would be that one little exercise.
I love that, because it hasn't been shared before, and it's different and it's new. It's something I can try. Shari, where do we find you? How do we connect with you online? What are the best places to connect?
So the best place to connect, thank you, Julie, is to sharimolchan.com. So SHARIMOLCHAN.com. My mastermind's on there. I have an upcoming retreat talking about hanging around with your community. It's going to be at the Kingfisher in May. It's going to be epic. It's going to sell out. So have a look for that there too.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for everything that you've shared with us today. I really, really enjoyed our time together. Really appreciate this, Shari. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Julie. Thank you.